So I saw this interview of one of these Afenifere Yoruba leader. Apparently, it doesn't sound like someone that is in the side of Tinubu. He said, if a Peter Obi takes over power from Tinubu, it is going to be a tribal fight between the Yorubas and the Igbos, because they're going to say that the Igbos went to go and make deal with the North to take Tinubu out of power. But the reason why I would not take that too serious is because he also said that Tinubu himself has failed, that no sane Yoruba man will vote Tinubu. But this is my own grasp in this issue. My own grasp is that people should stop pushing this notion that it is always a fight between Yorubas and Igbo. No. If as a matter of fact, if Peter Obi takes power from Tinubu, heaven will not fall. And yes, the man also went on to say that the Yorubas might be pushing for some other ways to, maybe they are Oduduwa or whatsoever. Let me tell you one thing. Many of us in social media, if we hear one single Yoruba man come out here to shout Oduduwa, we will resist it. Yes. Because many of you were part of those that were talking down, not even allowing others to have their own say in having their own agitation to leave the country. Even when it would have benefited both parties, if both parties come together and then make a very big block against the North and then divide the country, they say no. Once Tinubu became president, the other idiot that was agitated, so they go, went to putting on the PC cap. Let me tell you, we will resist it. We will resist it. People will stay in this country and suffer with every other region, the world that people have been suffering. Because you cannot come and put a president from Yoruba place that refuse to work on people and then you now leave them, now want to divide the country. No. So everybody will take their fair share of the suffering. After getting their fair share of the suffering, then we can now go our separate ways, because you cannot let one group to suffer and then you yourself, you don't want to suffer, you now want to run. No, you will not run. We will resist any form of Oduduwa agitation. We will not accept it. Because all of us, we had a very soft spot for it, and this is what we thought. The person doing the agitation decided to go and join the peace. So we will resist it, as I said. We will resist it.
I got a lot of tag on this video to respond to what Dr. Akin is saying. A lot of people were feeling or have this impression that Dr. Akin is trying to incite the Yorubas against the Igbo, or is threatening the lives of Igbo. I think that's absolutely false. See, you need to have analytical skills and critical skills in order to understand what Dr. Akin is trying to portray. On this video, what Dr. Akin is saying is this: that the lack of capacity, the failures of the Tinubu government will likely lead to him being defeated come the 2027 election as a result of the political alliance between the Southeast, which P2B represents, and the Northwest, which Kwankwaso represents. He is saying that there is a greater chances of President Tinubu to be defeated in the next general election. That President Tinubu and his political party are feeling that they are the ruling party. They have the various machineries of the state at their disposal. That makes them to feel overconfident that they might end up winning the election. He's saying that is not the case. That the ruling party needs to remember the 1965 and the 1983 election. While at that crucial time, the ruling party were overconfident and they lost, which eventually led to violence in Nigeria. He is also saying that the mentality amongst the people of the Yoruba ethnic group who believe in the Emilokun mentality will result in them taking violence against Igbo people living in the Southwest. That he, based on his perception, based on the feelings, based on the words on ground, that there are likely to be tendencies or clash between Igbos and Yorubas living in the Southwest. That he's trying to give a warning to the political class to forestall the violence or the unaliving that will take place in Nigeria come 2037. So what Dr. Akin is saying is not trying to incite or threaten the lives of Igbo people living in the Southwest. He's just giving a warning. He's just trying to buttress a point by telling the Yorubas that they should not feel entitled, that because they feel it is their turn, that their own son has failed, that it does not deserve to be re-elected. That is what Dr. Akin is saying in this video. The reason I have not reacted to it is because I needed to take my time to listen to this video several times, analyze it, evaluate what Dr. Akin is saying before I could come to a conclusion. Having watched this video several times, I have come to that conclusion that Dr. Akin is not trying to incite violence against Igbo-speaking people living in the Southwest. You see, this is a warning that the presidency and the Nigerian government must take seriously. If a man on the soil from the Southwest is threatening that, he's saying that there's likely to be a Rwanda genocide in Nigeria come 2027, the security forces in Nigeria and the Nigerian government must take that threat seriously. And Igbo people living in the Southwest must be very careful and take this information that Dr. Akin is passing over seriously, because the 2027 election is not a do or die. If President Tinubu was to lose the election, he has to take his bag and go back home. President Tinubu has not performed. That is the issue here. We need to look at performance when it comes to those occupying office in Nigeria. So the coming of P2B and Kwankwaso is a threat to this current government. And 2027 is just around the corner. Let's wait and see if the information that has been passed by Dr. Akin Fapohunda will come to pass. Thank you.
He said that if Peter Obi defeats, form alliance with the North and defeats President Tinubu, that the war between the Yorubas and the Igbos will reach the highest level. Dr. Akin Fapohunda. Do you know the people you are threatening with war? One of the most formidable tribes in the world that you are threatening with war. If your kingsman loses general election, it has gotten to this level. If it was to be an Igbo man that made this statement, he will be chilling in DSS dungeon now. But you know the double standard in the country. But Dr. Akin Fapohunda, a quick one. This tribe you are saying, this Igbo tribe, this is a tribe that survived the Portuguese invasion. The tribe that you are threatening with war. This is a tribe that survived the Aro-Ibibio war that metamorphosed to the Aro Confederacy. This is a tribe that survived the British invasion and their pseudo-conquest mentality. This is a tribe that survived the Gumeku War for 31 years that you are threatening with war. This is a tribe that survived the extermination of the 1950s. This is a tribe that survived the pogrom of 1966. This is a tribe that survived the Biafran War of 30 months, 1967 to 1970. Whereby all the members of the United Nations Security Council were supporting the Nigerian states to throw bombs down here. Both Britain, both France, both Russia, both United States of America, both Germany, including Egypt, all the Arab League, Arab countries. This is the tribe that you are threatening war. A tribe that survived Sharia riots, a tribe that survived the conquest of 2015 to 2023. This is the tribe you are threatening with war. Do you people make research before you make your statement? You are threatening the great Igbo tribe, Agunwerobi, with war.
Let me make it very clear. I'm very short. The truth is that you can't threaten the Igbos should Tinubu lose election 2027. That the Yorubas will declare war against the Igbos because Tinubu eventually lost election. Well, heaven will not fall if Tinubu loses election. In fact, Tinubu do not need the re-election bids to remain relevant. Tinubu is one of the most fortunate politicians in the history of Nigeria. He is celebrated, accomplished. Well, he might not, of course, he may not have lived up to expectations by the people or generality of Nigerians. But judging him by his political antecedents and adventures, eventually he could be considered within the defined or within the context of Nigerian political cycle as a well-celebrated and successful politician in the history of Nigeria. Now, that is personal. He has set the goal to become the president of Nigeria, which he said that has been his life ambition. And God being so kind, let me use the word, God being so kind, regardless of his manipulative tendencies and strategic moves, and alignments and block and the rest of them, eventually saw him through becoming the president of Nigeria, the Grand Commander of the Armed Forces. To him, I say congratulations to that because he lived out his aspirations for more than 3 decades. He has been working towards this according to his statement or projections. And when you consider his antecedents, I said he is the most celebrated and successful politician. Of course, going by personal achievement or goals set for himself. Nigerians may not have felt, of course, the good part of his government, as people, majority of Nigerians are lamenting the continued killings, poverty, devaluation of the naira, and very difficult life of course, Nigerians are passing through. But let me come just a minute. Now, Tinubu has been a senator, of course, of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and also a governor of two terms. You know what that means? He has been in control of the Lagos state politics, and by extension, of course, the southwestern region. He have ensured the emergence of several governors influencing beyond the Lagos, the shores of Lagos, just as Osun, Ibadan, Oyo, and the other, of course, Ekiti sometimes. He played a very pivotal role in ensuring, of course, who becomes who in this region. Undoubtedly, that is to tell you the weight of his influence in the regional politics. So he has been in control of Lagos even up to date, more than close to 3 decades. So you know what that means. So he's one of the most celebrated or cerebral politician in the history of Nigeria. That you can't take away from him. But one thing is very clear. There is time to go to the stage, and there is time to bow, of course, out of the stage. These are what you must define. If by any means you want to overstretch your relevance, then that might be a very, of course, devastating and very dangerous mistake anyone might contemplate. Tinubu has been fulfilled. He doesn't need second term to feel or have a sense of fulfillment. Tinubu have become whatever anyone might even aspire to be. As I rightly said, he is one of the best politicians, successful politicians, dead and alive in this country. He is the only one who has become the senator, the governor, two-term governor, and the president. He have controlled several political, of course, outcome decisions and strategies. He was pivotal in the emergence of Buhari, who would have no possibility of becoming the president of Nigeria. Eventually, he was through these collaborations, of course, with Rochas Okorocha, who unfortunately has been booted and relegated. That is just the truth. Now, coming back to one Afenifere, of course, threatening the Igbos that should Tinubu lose election 2027, that the Yorubas will declare war against the Igbos. On what basis? That is an act of irresponsibility. And by now, I expected Tinubu, His Excellency, to have called him to order, or possibly the DSS to have arrested this reckless statement. How could he be inciting such crisis, of course, that might possibly lead to breakdown of law and order? What has Tinubu to lose if he eventually lose 2027 election? Tinubu eventually has nothing to lose. It's only the sycophants around him who, of course, are projecting and, of course, strategizing to become one minister or the other, are making this senseless and irresponsible statements. I strongly believe that Tinubu, of course, do not send this guy to make such destructive statements. Tinubu might not be in a know of that. Whether Tinubu loses 2027 election, he is Tinubu, he is the president. He is one of the most accomplished presidents in the history of Nigeria. Nobody has come closer to his records. That is just the truth. For more than 30 years, he has been in control of Lagos, and by extension, he should be considered the most richest politician in the history of Nigeria. I'm saying this not just because I just want to make statements, but these are obvious realities. If you put your eyes down, somebody who has been in control of Lagos for close to 3 decades would be not just the richest politician in Nigeria, but across Africa, if not the world. That is to tell you the weight of his personality. So what else did he stand to lose? If the people said, okay, he have contributed his quota in the service of humanity and his nations, irrespective of the fact that people, of course, might have different perception about his personality, but the truth that he have aspired and he have accomplished his lifetime ambition of becoming the president. So on no account should anybody, because of Tinubu, create a problem he cannot solve, his generation cannot solve. Because looking way back from the history of Nigeria, the most region that have enjoyed alliance with the North is the Yorubas. Now, when it comes to the Nigerian arrangement, we have three majority, of course, ethnic majority or ethnic nationality. Three major tribes are the Hausa, Igbos, and Yorubas. And the two major tribes happens to fall within the southern region, which is the southern Nigeria, the Igbo and the Yorubas. Now, for decades, the Yorubas has been aligning for decades, several decades. The Yorubas have been aligning with the North. They felt better, secured, more advantage aligning with the North than their fellow Southerners or the Igbo, of course, region of the South, to gain undue advantage of the Igbos. Now, since the return of democracy, let me not go back, stretch it far back, of course, history. Since the return of democracy, a Yoruba man has become the president of Nigeria for 8 years, citing, of course, Obasanjo. A Yoruba man has become the vice president of Nigeria for 8 years. That is Osibanjo in the picture. Now, if it happens to be the turn of the South, who should legally demand to produce the president? If it is the turn of the South, of course, the Obasanjo went. When it is next the turn of the South, the Igbo man becoming one of the majority, of course, the major tribes within the South should be the one to produce the president. But Igbos are being robbed of their rights to produce president by the same Yorubas. When it was Igbo turn, the Yoruba jumped out and said, "It is my turn, Emiloko, Emiloko." Nobody is considering this. That is pure injustice. That is pure criminality. That is pure imbalance. When they say it is the turn of the South, who are the South that deserve that turn? That is what many people fail to present in the argument. So I consider the statement of that man, or, a deceptive, crafted statement, trying to incite or send certain signals or panic that people should be afraid, to consider the fear that what will happen. Heaven will not fall if Tinubu loses election, because Tinubu is already an accomplished personality. He has lived out his life. So other regions should also be given equal opportunity, given an opportunity to try to manage this country. It does not belong to the Yorubas. It does not belong to the Yoruba. Why is it that the Yorubas politicians are greedy? Well, I certainly believe that he is not speaking on behalf of the Yorubas. I know there are more responsible Yorubas who does not align with such sentiments. That's why I will not generalize the concept. These are greedy, selfish politicians or people trying to buy favor, with Tinubu and the rest of them, to be considered for the crumbs that may fed off, from the table, and the rest of them. They're the ones making this divisive, destructive, and inciting statement. Not Tinubu. Where is that justice? Where is that fairness? And you have the audacity to insult the intelligence of your listeners that Igbos and Yorubas will be at war. Who should be even at war? Who should be more concerned? Igbos have been robbed of their rights, of their due legitimate rights. If the power sharing or the sentiment of zoning is being, of course, zoned to the north, then the north have the advantage, just as Buhari completed that of the north. Now, when it is back to the south, what should be considered? Which region of the south has benefited in the past? Then the region who have not fared, who have not have a fair share of the zoning arrangement should be given the opportunity. It was the turn of the south in 2023. And who should be considered among the, if you are arguing that this is, if you Peter B allow, of course, obliterate the opportunity of the South to produce, who are the South in this context? If he is sincere, why are some men irresponsible to the fact that they can't live to defend the truth? Who should be the one to be considered by fairness, by justice, by considerations, by all considerations?
Good day to our viewers all over the world and welcome back to Local Journal. For me, I think Dr. Akin Fapohunda is being read out of context. You understand? Because this is someone who has been an ardent critic of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and he has never been a believer of this whole system. He's been criticizing the system and been saying a whole lot of stuff about the current administration. However, I think he didn't choose his words carefully, and if you listen very well in what he said, he never supported the APC administration, and he never even supported President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because he said he don't deserve it, going by what he has been able to produce in the last 3 years. So what he was trying to say there, I think he was trying to point back down to history and trying to say some things, but he didn't put it in the right frame, because I felt like he was only trying to state that probably maybe the grudge that the Yorubas and the Igbos have been harboring amongst themselves will like kind of metamorphose to the next level, or will be more intense if probably maybe such occurrence happens. You understand? But as we all know, that's just a normal statement, not like he's saying that Tinubu should be re-elected. No, I don't think that was what he meant. I think he was only trying to state that people who feel that the ones who are not really learned and not really liberal, is because it's not everyone that is liberal amongst all tribe. You understand? And those ones who feel like, okay, so this is my person and all of that, understand, and they are just tribal bigots and all of that, understand, who feel enraged with the fact that Obi is teaming up with the North to take away Tinubu, or vice versa. You understand? It's just like saying that the Igbos are trying to like kind of team up with the North to like host a Yoruba sitting president, but that's not even supposed to come into play, because if we are very honest, if we are to be very honest with ourselves, the current people that deserve it, the current zone that deserves it, is the Igbos. The Igbos are the ones that are supposed to be the one ruling now, because the Yorubas and the South Southerners have had their own fair share of this zone into this southern part of the country. You understand? So it's now the turn of the Igbos to become the president. So I believe he was trying to like kind of be smart with his word, but in the end he ends up like kind of goofing. However, I don't think that he really meant that okay, it's going to be kind of a war between the Yorubas and the Igbos, or probably maybe it's going to like, I don't think, because he's not a supporter of this current administration. However, I still believe that he didn't choose his words and the statement carefully, and that's the reason why it's causing the current uproar and generating the attention it's getting now. So that's my own opinion on it. Drop what you think about this in the comment section, and if today is your first time to visit our channel, please kindly like, share and subscribe to our channel.